And welcome back to the Day 9 Daily number 350, where we learn to be a better gamer. And today, my hair is so good that I don't even want to wear these headphones. Yeah. Moving them aside. Move right along, little headphonies. Move right along. We are going to be finishing up this game between EG's HuK and Fnatic MSI's Rain. And we're going to be taking some questions. And then I need to take a brief break to get some work done, and then I'll be streaming Diablo 3 later. So anytime, whenever there's a huge engagement like this, I feel like my instinct used to be attack, 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 attack. Oh my god, I have to attack, 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 attack. But nowadays, my instinct and what I think is better is to expand. Anytime you win a huge engagement, try to plop down another base. And by the way, I love the Gravatic Drive Warp Prism speed. Because if you attack like this, he generally is in a good position. It's fine to kind of like poke and prod and be aggressive, but I like the emphasis more on the expanding. Now, if I'm in Rain's position, I'm actually probably even gonna skimp on Medivacs a little bit for the time being. Oh my god, he's built another command center. That's like so awesome. Yeah, do these sorts of drops? No, actually, you know what? I would probably try to get out 8 Medivacs as fast as I can, and then just only produce units. Something like that. I mean, I think that this is also good, focusing on units like super ultra hardcore. The Medivac seems to always be one of the big decision points for me when I play this matchup. You should also put your guys in gas. That's going to be quite good. You know, now at this point in time, actually at any point in time, I always ask myself, how can I be applying pressure to my opponent? The only way I actually think in which you can't apply pressure is to just be getting a bigger army. You want to be doing something like expanding, that's an active form of pressure. You want to be doing something like harassing him with drops or something along those lines. In almost any build, getting a big army must necessarily be part of it. But like, what are you going for here as HuK? And this, oh yeah, now I'm starting to sort of piece it together. This is something that I've seen HuK do a lot that is leaps and bounds better than a simple old death ball, right? People like to describe this as a death ball, right? We have our Warp Prism with Templar, our Archons, our Colossus, our Speed Zealots. We got our ridiculous Giga Mega Duder upgrades. But with Blink and Storm, poke with the Blink Stalkers, get them out of the way, and then just try to land some good storms. In other words, you always have a tactic involving units of your Death Ball that you can be doing all the time. You heard me just get done saying, now how can you put pressure? I always feel like maybe you should be dropping, maybe you should be harassing with DTs, maybe you should, like, I don't know, have some flying unit do damage if you're Zerg, you know, if you have your Mutalisk, can you do damage like that? But this is really good because, again, Blink Stalkers, you can always blink away. HuK will never blink into it. He just blinks, he pokes in, pokes out. He's nibbling, as I call it. And yes, I do call it that. He's just going to nibble away at this army a little bit at a time. He's not actually engaging. In fact, at this point in time, what HuK normally does is adds on like 10 gateways, sort of like in big rings. He's likely waiting for his ups to finish. But while that's going on, I mean, he's just going to be continuing to poke and prod with these here Blink Stalkers. Oh, blinking out of the way. So good, so smooth. I do feel like a Warp Prism back here would just kick stupid amounts of ass. The ass that would kick would be astounding. Actually, you know, I actually am going to describe this like all the way through. If you do an attack and you're winning it, and you have units warping in here, F yeah, you are in good shape, right? Because you basically won the game immediately. And these Zealots warping in didn't matter. If you attack the front and you're kind of losing and you have to retreat, and Zealots are warping in here, you're doing a kind of permanent damage that he needs to come back and address. If he doesn't come back and address that, if he tries to go for it, you can always have the warp-ins home to, you know, rely on defender's advantage and be in somewhat good shape. Unless you just got completely effed there. But especially if he comes here and then he starts pulling units back, you're, regardless of his army size, let's say you could never take on his army and he's pulling it back here, then you can do a counterattack up here. that whole logic, the reason I went through it is because I want to emphasize that in the late game, everything is about managing expansions. HuK is kind of going for a kill move here. And, you know, I'm kind of fine with that, but there's been no attempts to put pressure on this expansion. I feel like Rain is a little bit behind and is feeling super on edge, so it makes sense that he's not trying to hit this base. He's trying to keep all his stuff clustered so he doesn't die. HuK has the initiative, though. He has the lead in this game. And now here comes Rain's unbelievably fragile attempts to try to do some damage. But, you know, hey, Rain's a good player. Rain's not just gonna fold and bend over for some, you know, sniping Templar and this and that. Rain's sitting in here, he's fighting, and we are doing nothing to apply pressure up here where he will almost certainly begin taking himself a 5th and 6th base. I really just want to see a warping up on that high ground. Not because I'm trying to be like fanboyistic, but because I actually think it's strictly better than just kind of repeatedly engaging and doing this. And this is what can actually make people feel like, oh, esports is dry, herpy-derpy-der. I mean, yeah, this is an intense moment, but a lot of people will say it's just two big armies going at it. Both are deciding to do that, and I feel like there's a couple of ways where they could have peeled away there. Oh my god, does that suck ass! Oh my god, that just sucked worse than anything I could possibly imagine! Run away! Hey, remember how I said I kind of want to get like 8 medevacs early? And I guess I probably should have said 6 to 8. I bet you dollars to donuts that our good friend, the Terran player, has spent so much on stim and cannot heal it at a good enough rate. Look, he's done half health damage to all his units. Half freaking health damage to all his units without having enough to heal, and he still comes out marginally ahead. Where are all those gateways, Monsieur HuK? And amazingly in these engagements, I assume that HuK ends up pulling out on top. Amazingly enough, but, gosh, rats. Yeah, you know, this is, it's games like these that I always ask myself, what little way can I be putting pressure on my opponent? This is one way. But, you know, War Prism's at the back. We're starting to see that popping in a lot, especially in PvZ, where it is just basically brutalizing Zergs, and a lot of Zergs just, like, don't even know what to do. They're just, like, crying and sobbing. They're just, like, so lost in their ways, and they hate it. And, of course, Sniper's really good, and this is why you don't blink into your opponent's face. Into his face. Alright, so there's about 4 minutes left. I'm just going to be speeding it up. We see that the energy is ridiculous, or the gas is ridiculously high for HuK. What I would obviously say is reasonable is to try to engage with a little bit of space so I can, so I can morph in a hell of a lot of Templar and just get Archons and just do a big counter push. And of course the Colossus doing a little bit of harassment. Better than nothing. And I'm sure in his final engagements, Speed Zealots, as it turns out, are good in this game. Only morphing in Speed Zealots is the key to success. Alright, great. I don't actually like this that much. I mean, this is your obvious standard HuK display of incredible macro. But, I still feel like more could have been done. Terran, I think, was a little bit pinned into having just, like, a huge giant-ass army. But this is what I'm really talking about. Come on, morph in some more Templar. Yeah, where are those Templar at? Yeah. Oh, no, morphing in Zealot. Oh, how just depressing. Alright, speeding things along. I will give HuK the justice of watching him win, which he should do, unless something horrific happens. Hey, leading with the Stalkers, going to another location. Fantastissimo. GG! Let's take some questions. Bam! By the way, there's that GG. Yeah! Alright, cool. Cool. Let's go ahead and hop over to Markio's amazing question-grabbing software. Alright. Clear. I'm clearing all questions. I went to the gym today. I was actually in a foul mood midday, so you know what I did? I ran and just kept running until I was out of energy to feel foul. And I ran 7 miles. Yeah, alright. I'm really tired because I am not in that good of shape. Yeah. And one of the big reasons why you work out is so you can brag. And I use this show as a vehicle to do as such. So MDog01 says, Dear Day 9, you said that Terrans that attempt a no-gas expand are no big deal. Does this mean you think it's ultimately smarter for Terrans to focus on early units pressure as opposed to faster expands? I definitely need to clarify that. When I say that I feel like an early expanding Terran is no big deal, I mean that's because I studied it and worked on it really, really, really hard, and now I feel good against that. But the thing that should be easier, I didn't study very hard, and now I find it difficult. Like, weirdly enough, my best matchup is Protoss vs Zerg by a long shot, by a significant margin. Protoss vs Zerg is my best matchup because I was like, man, this is hard. This is, gosh, I need to work on this a lot. And I spent like a week and a half just looking at that matchup, thinking about it, reveling at how good Liquid Hero is. Right? These are all the things that I did, but it's kind of one of those weird things that ends up happening with where your focus is drawing. Let's see here. So HTCP says, Dear Day 9, how does a Terran compete against a max toss in that situation? I think it largely comes down to the Viking count not being too high, and then once you get past that point, you heard me just wanting to puke at this moment. Let me try to... Was it actually at 32 minutes? There was a moment a little earlier than that. 30 minutes. 28 minutes. There's this moment where Terran just stimmed so damn much. Like, I'm trying to come back where it was like... Alright, this is going to lag, like, ridiculously crazy. No, yeah, here it was. Here it is, 28 minutes, where it was stim, and then another stim. And this can happen a lot for Terrans, where they just get really excited and they go for it. But I would say that this is strictly an issue that has come up due to Rain's misdecision, or actually general Terran misdecision-making with their army. A lot of times what Terran wants to do is kind of do this sort of, like, you know, like their army moves forward and back and kind of spreads and pulls back together and spreads and then gets good EMPs and crushes the army. You don't want to, like, stim, chase down. Don't get overexcited as Terran, even though you have a really, really fast army. You have to be very, very careful with your stims. Weirdly enough, in the very late game, I think is where you have to be most careful. In the late game, then the early game, and then the mid game. And the reason I say that is that... in the mid game, you generally have like a lot of medevacs because that's part of your build. In the early games, you don't have medevacs yet. You might not even have combat shield yet. Be careful with your stim. In the late game, that's where people are so obsessed with making ghosts and upgrades and Vikings that they kind of completely look past and they neglect the medevacs, because medevacs are no longer part of the build and they just get zoned out of people's heads. By Fireflies, Dear Day 9, how long will your break be before D3 stream? Probably like an hour. I'm going to say, so probably at 9 p.m. Pacific is when it's going to begin. From Stexus, I'm going to take this last question, and then I'm going to go with my sexy hair. God, just conditioner, that's all it takes. Stexus says, Dear Day 9, why don't many Protosses use Chrono a lot? Interestingly, I think that some of the best builds out there are the best because you just have clear targets for the Chrono Boost. Like, simple as that. Remember when Colossus Void Ray was the big core mix of Protoss versus Zerg armies? It's a really easy thing to do because you just Chrono Boost your Stargates and your Colossus as much as humanly possible the whole game. Zero energy! What about that really fast +2 and Speed Zealot build? Really fast +2 armor and Speed Zealots. Chrono Boost the Forge, Chrono Boost Zealot legs. I don't have any Chrono Boost anymore. I think, though, that with a build like this, I definitely think it can be improved with well-thought-out, well-timed Chrono Boosts. Even if it's something as simple as constantly Chrono Boost your probes, get more economy, Chrono Boost the probes, go, etc., etc. Where'd my mind go? Come on back, brain. But I think players will start to figure out some more things soon enough, like if my opponent comes at me at this point in time, it's okay because I have 7 Chrono Boosts saved up, and I can Chrono Boost my 7 gateways, and I can get out 3 full warp-ins of units within the next minute. Great. That's going to be amazing to suddenly have 21 Stalkers just because you delayed him 1 minute from his base to your base. That's a huge swell. I mean, there's even a lot of gateway-focused chrono boosting that has come up as big strategies where, you know, like Protoss players will go 3-gate Sentry Zealot, expand, save up all their chrono boost, and then suddenly build 3 Stalkers, chrono boost again, build 3 Stalkers, go. And it catches tons of Zergs off guard. It's a really, really good timing push. But, I think it's just that it's non-intuitive. With Void Ray Colossus, why am I not, or why Chrono Boost? Well, because there's an obvious target. Right now it's not so obvious, but I'm sure players will figure out uses for it soon enough. I'm done. Fun Day Monday tomorrow is going to be a game of you expanding 4 times before you really do anything else. And sure, you can, like... Ah. Nice. That's Tristan. He's letting me know he's going to be home between 9 and 9:30 so we can play some D2 together. Yeah. Fun Day Mondays. Expand 4 times before you actually do anything. You can do something like build a spawning pool and make some spine crawlers, but make sure you're expanding a grand total of 3 times for 4 bases. Main, natural, 3rd, 4th. That's what I want to see before anything really gets begun. For Newbie Tuesday, because of the recent 1.4 patch, I wanted you to submit a game of you trying the same timing push over and over again. And make sure the timing push happens between 10 and 12 minutes. And I want to see the replay pack of you doing that. Commentary, you know, in like a notepad file of like what your adjustments were between. Because I want to see adjustments before the attack and after the attack. We'll be choosing 1 lucky soul for next Newbie Tuesday to be checking that out. I'm done. I'm done for now. Thank y'all. Peace.